BK Academy of Chess presents the chess game between Emanuel Lasker and Johann Bauer, played in 1889. This is one of the most famous games due to Lasker's castle-busting combination requiring the sacrifice of both bishops. This sacrificial combination is very instructive as it repeatedly shows up, most notably, in the games between Nimzowitsch and Tarrasch in 1914, Miles and Browne in 1982, and Polgar and Karpov in 2003. The game between Emanuel Lasker and Johann Bauer started out with e4, the defining move of Bird's opening, named after Henry Bird. It was said the Bird loved to challenge the conventional theory of playing chess in search of a stunning novelty. He succeeded in this endeavor and left his footprints in chess history with this opening and the Bird's defense to the right Lopez. Bird was never scared, as it has been said he lived for chess, and would play anybody anywhere, anytime, under any conditions. Okay, enough about Bird. The opening continued with d5, e3, knight f6, b3, e6, bishop b2, bishop e7. This is all book theory. However, here Lasker played bishop d3, whereas most players today play knight f3. But notice how both players are following a basic opening principle of developing its pieces by moving each piece just once. The opening continued with b6, knight c3, bishop b7, knight f3, knight b, d7, castle, castle. Castling may seem like a waste of time, but it's good practice because it places the king as far away from the action as possible. The goal of the opening is to prepare for battle, and king's safety should be of the utmost importance. Now white makes its first maneuver with knight e2, looking to transfer its knight to attack in the direction that white's pawn chain is pointing, to the king side. After c5, white completes the knight transfer with knight g3, and is now prepared to attack on the king side. Black completes its opening with queen c7, connecting the rooks. Notice how black's back rank has transformed. The connecting of the rooks is like shutting the doors to the castle. All that is left are the rooks and the king. Everything else has made its way out to the battlefield. Generally the queen is the last piece to leave, thereby connecting the rooks, which makes for a powerful force as the rooks work well together. However, as is the case with white, it's perfectly okay to start maneuvers with the queen on the back rank, because the queen also works well with rooks. So the game continues with white crossing the river first with knight e5, and after knight takes e5, bishop takes e5, black plays queen c6, threatening mate on g2, so white supports the g2 pawn with queen e2. Now how should black play? Its central pawns are pointing to the queen side. However, black is attacking on the king side. Has white presented any real threat against black's castle? Pause the video if you need more time to analyze the position. The pawns in front of black's king seem to be well guarded, and the key access squares to the king side, the g4 and h5 squares, are guarded by black's knight. It turns out that white does have a real threat, a move that threatens a tactical combination. It's not bishop takes f6, nor is it the sacrificial bishop takes h7. Well, we will soon see. Black continued with a6. Apparently, black is looking to expand on the queen side, which wouldn't be a bad plan if it wasn't for one move. The clue to this move comes by analyzing the squares of black's king side. What is the one weak square on black's king side that white could use to break down black's king side defense? Black has two underprotected squares on its side of the river, g5 and h5. However, white has no way to use g5, but how can it use the h5 square? This move looks to lure away black's major kingside defender. The move is knight h5, attacking black's f6 knight, the key defender of black's castle. Without the knight, the g7 and h7 pawns would be sitting on critical squares. In addition to white's bishops aiming directly at black's castle, along with easy access by the queen, things are not looking good for black. So how should black play? Black played the worst move with knight takes h5, leaving black's castle exposed. So how should white play? Recapturing with the queen would even the score. White continued with bishop takes h7, sacrificing the bishop to gain the tempo necessary, so that after king takes h7, queen takes h5, black has no time to defend. After king g8, how can white gain another tempo to maintain the initiative? White sacrifices the other bishop with bishop takes g7, threatening mate, so black is forced to take with king takes g7. Now, the queen cannot do it alone, so how should white play to bring the rook into the attack without losing the initiative? First, white checks the king with queen g4, to gain another tempo by forcing the king to move while not giving black time to defend. After king h7, white uplifts his rook to the third rank with rook f3, threatening mate. Now what is the only way black can defend? Black's best defense is to sacrifice the queen with e5, rook h3, queen h6, and after rook takes h6, king takes h6, black ends up with two bishops and a rook in exchange for a queen and two pawns. A pretty equitable exchange, right? However, the combination is not complete. How should white continue? White has queen d7, forking black's bishops and giving white the advantage. This completes the double bishop sacrifice, which is a very instructive castle-busting combination. For all you chess.com Diamond members, Grandmaster Dejan Bukov's video, Greatest Chess Minds, Emanuel Lasker, Part 1, highlights the various mating combinations for all of black's alternate lines that could have been played. Its practicality and understanding this castle-busting combination is undeniable. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for tuning in to BK Academy of Chess, where together we build, and over the board we even the score.